Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Planet Tyro. I'm your host, Donald Wonder. Been a hell of a long time, hasn't it? Yes, of all the things, I don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to have a little ramble rant discussion here about Star Trek Discovery Season 2. You know, I've said before, I'm a massive Star Trek fan, and I'm really short for time, but I did watch all of Season 2. I actually got some comments about discussing it. People want to know my actual thoughts on Season 2. And you know what? I actually watched my review of Season 1. I'll put it in the top right corner of the YouTube card up there. Go back and watch Season 1 because my Season 1 review was very positive actually. And I enjoyed Season 2, I did. But to be honest with you, all the energy I like from Discovery, it is showing me that this is definitely a new way to do Star Trek that at its core I'm not very happy with, to be honest with you, but that doesn't mean this season wasn't enjoyable, and I was very skeptical about this. So let's just start talking about Star Trek Discovery Season 2 2019. Better late than never.
Oh my God!
Before I even get started, man, I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite super liberal YouTubers, Steve Shives, because Steve Shives does a lot of Star Trek content. So to be honest with you, I can't do all the content I want to do on Star Trek and all this other review stuff. So I would recommend going to Steve Shives' channel. I'm going to try to put the playlist up here. He does Trek, actually does a lot of good stuff. I really enjoy a lot of the things he said about Star Trek Discovery Season 2. And enough about everyone else. Let's talk about what I think about Star Trek Discovery. Season 2, at the end of Season 1, before I even get into spoilers. Spoilers. If you haven't watched Season 2, do not watch this. Please, this is only for people who want my opinion and do not care about plot spoilers. Okay, so at the end of Season 1, they showed, you know, the Enterprise from the original Star Trek series. And to be honest with you, I just rolled my eyes, because I just felt like the franchise was going to rely too heavily on nostalgia and Spock and Kirk and the original Enterprise. And I was just like, are we going to do this really? And I was also confused about the timeline of this series. It feels like it should be an alternate universe. But let me tell you something. This season went out of its way to force it all together to make sure that Star Trek Discovery is now going to be in the original one canon Star Trek universe. And by the end of the series, I was very amused how they force-fed Discovery into the Star Trek canon. I was just like, did you guys really, are you guys so opposed to making this its own thing that you have to force it to make it make sense with the original Star Trek series? I didn't mind it, to be honest with you, because we're going to talk about Season 3, what I think they're going to do in Season... I was actually refreshed on how this ended. But anyway, look, Season 2 in a nutshell was, to be honest with you, it's a lot more straightforward than Season 1. Season 1, I felt like they didn't know what they were doing, and they threw a lot of twists at you. In this season, they continued a lot of interesting things, but they even railed in a couple of things like the Klingons. They tried to, again, explain why the Klingons now growing their hair. Look, the acting in Star Trek Discovery, the two things that are stellar in Star Trek Discovery is, one, the visuals are amazing. No Star Trek series has ever looked this good. Visually stunning. 2019, the CGI graphics are amazing. Yes, we got the lens flares and all the other stuff, but it is a visual marvel. It looks amazing. As a Star Trek fan, love it. And the actors they've got here are really giving it their all, really emoting. To be honest with you, I would even argue that they overact, but it's not overacting. These are just really good actors putting more emotion into what I think are just rushed plots. My biggest problem with Star Trek Discovery is that if you're a big Star Trek fan, a lot of Star Trek to me it's a slow cook. They have these concepts with aliens and visiting places that is very slow. Traditionally, Star Trek has been very, very slow and enjoyable and procedural and political. this series is for all that away. Let's get more hyperbole, hyper action. That's not even bad for Star Trek, but there would be episodes, one episode that will cover something that an older series like Voyager or Enterprise or Deep Space Nine would cover in a whole season. I mean, there's episodes of, there's things like sacrificing a whole ship for one person, the way they bring people back in one episode, or the way things get resolved so quickly that could be expanded upon in a whole season. This series had so many episodes that I just felt rushed through meaty plot ideas. And as an original Star Trek fan, I kind of liked not the slow pace. It can be fast paced, but when you got story concept ideas that you can really work with and you just rush through them in an episode, it kind of loses me. And I'm only going to use one episode as an example because there's about 4 ideas I can bring. The one episode I'm going to bring is Suru. The Suru, this is one of my favorite characters in Star Trek Discovery, to be honest. What a great character. He has, not only him, but his species has a complete cultural species awakening. Something like that would happen over 1 season, 2 seasons, or even 3 episodes. In one episode, his whole culture, his whole philosophy as an alien is changed in one episode. And I just sitting there watching that. Wow, man, this could have been a whole season worth of stuff. Now, again, listen, it's a new generation, it's a new time. Maybe in 2019, the current viewership, this is, part of me feels like it's competition for what the climate of audiences are like right now. I don't think, it's a different age right now. We don't have the time for the slow build and episodes. I like that. I don't want to watch a 26 episode show anymore. I do want you to trim the fat, but there's a difference between trimming the fat and just pushing, just fast forwarding through really great concepts. In a nutshell, that was my biggest problem with Star Trek Discovery. In the first season, I felt like they were figuring it out, but in this season, they would have great conceptual ideas that they just blow through in 1 episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes. I'm like, that was resolved in 1 episode, or that could have been a 3 episode arc. Let me talk about the things I like. The thing I actually like about this series, season 2, that I thought would bug me the most is the Enterprise, Captain Pike, and Spock. It was nostalgia. But let's start with Spock. The storyline they have for Spock and Burnham, it's a bit cheesy, but the actors kill it. The new guy they got playing Spock, I thought he was actually fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. He wasn't even trying to mimic the old Spock. He was different enough, and then they tied it together at the end. This was my heaviest criticism, that I really thought they would just bank too much on nostalgia, and they did, but the actors and the actual plot was interesting enough and directed well enough that it won me over. Yeah, the Spock, it was all right. The overarching story for this whole series, the Red Angel, it was, to be honest with you, by the very end, when you find out what that's got to do with time travel and a time travel suit, and that, to be honest with you, is very kind of, I don't know, it reminded me of the old Star Trek, the very first season, the kind of just lazy, kind of silly writing. So it kind of fits, since this is essentially a prequel series. I didn't really mind it, to be honest with you. Again, it was just ran through so fast. Michael Burnham's mother, who was the actress from The Wire, again, what an amazing choice, amazing acting. The big villain of this, what was it called? The computer villain, which I thought was going to be a prelude to the Borg, which is what I really thought they were going towards, but they just made it into something else and racing against time and assimilating things. It was meh, to be honest with you, but it was enjoyable. Captain Pike, honestly, I've always liked Captain Pike. I liked him in the original series, and I think they really made his character really well here. And I like the fact they point out that Captain Pike is some super idealist. Like Star Trek, the original, are the best, the up, toffee-nosed, straight-laced kind of Star Trek that the rest of the Federation don't seem to be, which I really like. The Federation are more 2019 Babylon 5 type. The Star Trek in this universe is not the Star Trek I grew up with, and that's really cool. It's energetic. But the Enterprise with Spock and Pike and that kind of the colorful stuff, that's still there, and they let you know that that's his own thing, and Discovery is his own thing as well. I feel like I'm rambling here, but in total, I enjoy Star Trek Discovery. But listening to myself, listening to my discussion on the first series, listening to the fans, the more I watch this, the more I start to realize this is a high energy, newer way to do Star Trek. It's not really the Star Trek I know. It's the J.J. Abrams, flashy lights, cut to the chase stuff with great concepts still and amazing visuals. But a lot of stuff they want me to emotionally pay off on, they don't give enough time. If you don't give enough time to these things, I'm not gonna care. So there was a character death. You don't know the character very well. It was that robot type character. It could have worked. All of the ingredients were there, but it was rushed. Rushed. That's my problem with this series. And I just think, I just feel like it's the culture we live in today that, you know, CBS and Paramount, or the holders of the license, know that we need to make Star Trek more edgy and more glitzful and more bang, 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 bing, bam. And that does work. It's exciting as an old fan to see that, but at the same time, I think there can be a better balance. And I don't think I think they've compacted too many ideas. See, this season 1 and season 2, there've been so many ideas in there that they really could have mined and made the payoffs a lot better. And that's my main criticism. Star Trek Discovery is very entertaining, very entertaining. I did enjoy it, and I love the acting, I love the visuals, and that carried me through. But it just didn't punch. When I think of the old series, Voyager, some of those storylines, they really hit me here and hit me here. And to be honest with you, Star Trek Discovery is very surface level. It's kind of like the fast food of Star Trek. Still enjoyable, but it's the core is not there. I'm being harsh, but again, as an old fan, there's a big difference between this series and the older ones, which is fine, and it's still enjoyable as a television show. I just missed it when it was a bit more dissected and enjoyable, but we're just not in that culture. I've made peace with it. Last thing I want to mention is that, going back to the first thing I said, their main goal for season 2 seemed to be, we really want this to tie in with the single story from all this. We want this to fit in with the canon of Star Trek. We want it to all be, and we're gonna make sure Star Trek Discovery makes sense in the timeline. By the end, how they forced it in and how they tried to fix all the plot holes, and this is how it works. Because in season 2, spoiler, Discovery doesn't exist. We're jumping to the future, and we're gonna get a whole new. It seems like Discovery. Ironically, the name Discovery, you would think it's about discovering and adventuring, when it's been about war and action and a lot of sinister backstabbing plot twists. Now in season 3, Star Trek Discovery is gonna be on its own. It's jumping to the future, and I always wanted, I've said this so many times, I've wanted the series set ahead of Voyager, and with the technology of Discovery, with the new crew, and how they've tried to make it all make sense, I am actually very excited for Star Trek Discovery Season 3, because they've thrown it out the window. They've separated. There's no more nostalgia here. They've jumped into the future. Star Trek Discovery is on its own. It should be its own thing. And I want to see if they're going to commit to that, because that is it's what truly makes me excited for Star Trek Discovery. Because when it first started, I was hoping it was going to be a new series, then I heard it was a prequel. Then they have all this new technology that didn't make sense to me. How could this be before the original series and have all this great technology? And now we're propelling into the future with really great characters, really good build up, and I'm really excited. I'm going to give Star Trek Discovery Season 2 a solid B. It was enjoyable. I was just annoyed about how they rushed through really great concepts, but it is the fast food of Star Trek. If you're a Trekkie, if you like the J.J. Abrams movies, if you're an old school Trekkie, I know a lot of hard school Trek fans, are upset about this. I know that Red Letter Media, they did a funny parody about this, which I actually can't wait for Red Letter Media to talk about Star Trek. They're massive Star Trek fans, and I'm sure they're going to be super critical as well. But to be honest with you, I just let go. I had 5 seasons of the old, slow build Star Trek, and now I don't mind. I'm getting the more glitzy, fast-paced Star Trek because the acting and the visuals are carrying me through. I really do wish they kind of slow things down a bit and just let these good plot ideas cook through more. But other than that, I really do enjoy Star Trek, and I do think that if you're new coming into Star Trek, it's a good series, very good series. But the fans, the diehard fans, can take it or leave it. If you hated this franchise, if you hated Discovery, I completely understand why. I really do. But if you can let go of the past and just run with it and just be like, they had to change something, and this is just, they're trying to get new people in, and it's not going to be the same slow build Star Trek, then Discovery is what we got. And I'm not really surprised, and I'm very excited for what they're doing in season 3. But I just want to see if they're going to stick to their guns in season 3. Very exciting. I really enjoyed Star Trek Discovery season 2. Season 1 and 2 are very interesting. If you never watched Star Trek Discovery, I would actually recommend it. And you do not have to watch any Star Trek. There is fan service, but you don't have to watch it. But again, it's a spoiler discussion. If you're listening to me talk about it, you're probably already a Star Trek fan. But yeah, I really like it. It was enjoyable. It really was. I was surprised because I heard a lot of negative things about it. But I ended up enjoying it. And I'm glad it's on Netflix. And I don't have to pay CB access because I'm in the UK, which is really friggin' awesome. So again, I would highly recommend checking out Steve Shives. I'll put it in the YouTube card corner up there. Really great Star Trek content. Give him a shout out. And again, I apologize, guys. I'm not doing as much content on Planet Tyro. I would love to sit here and talk about comic books and graphic novels and anime and manga and documentaries. But until we can figure this, we're still trying to figure this thing full time while we do the Voice of Mail podcast, which is where you will hear us all the time. Until we do that, guys, until we figure it out, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sticking through. Check out our playlist. Over 500 videos on the channel. We're not dead. We're just working on a way to do YouTube and podcasting full time. And we're not even doing that consistently. But hey, guys, thanks for staying tuned. Let me get the hell out of here. I have no idea how long this rant has been. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the people who actually wanted to hear me talk about Star Trek. It was an interesting watch. Exciting times as a fan. Let me hear your thoughts. Leave your thoughts on the series in the comments down below. Love it or hate it, I understand. Let's share our thoughts. And that's it, guys. We'll see you on the next video. I'll do videos when I have the free time to. That's just how it is right now, guys. But again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you on the next video, guys. Take care. Peace out.